All right, I believe we are live. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Michael Williams. We're here with a whole team of uh, clients and students, very, very successful clients and students. And we thank you for joining us. And so I'm going to turn this whole thing over to Abdullah. We have some exciting presentations uh, and other things that we're going to be talking about today. If you have questions, please feel free to post your questions and we will try to get to them throughout this next hour. So, Abdullah, go ahead and unmute yourself and we'll go ahead and get started, man.
Yes, thank you, Mark Williams. So, hello everyone. Today I will begin by asking Masha'el a question. And the question is, Masha'el, how has your how has your experience been in Pro90D so far?
Yes. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Michelle and I'm from Saudi Arabia. And in this session, I would like to talk about my experience in the Pro90D program. So, first of all, I started watching Michael's videos on YouTube for almost 1 month, and I was very impressed by the videos, the content, and the way Michael speaks is so calm and flowy and smooth. And actually, I did not know about the program until my husband sent me a video um, from YouTube. And I started watching the videos for a month, as I just mentioned, and then I decided to join the program, and I'm very grateful for the Pro90D and for Michael's helping and continuous support. I just want to give a brief about how I used to be before joining the Pro90D. I used to be very anxious, stressed, and fearful while speaking or before speaking. And I used to always anticipate that I might get stuck, I might embarrass myself, people would laugh at me. I actually experienced close people to me laughing at my face um, because of the way I used to speak. Um, I used to have these facial movements. Um, I used to push my lips to let the words out and um, close my eyes so hard. I used to think that this might help me to get the words out. And I used to always ask myself and say, why me? It really affected my confidence, the way I feel about myself, and it made me isolate myself from talking to people. And now I'm at a point in my life that I thought I would never reach. And I'm a better communicator, I'm more confident, and proactive. I always start conversations, I introduce myself, and I'm just so happy that I took this opportunity to join the program. And I just want to mention that I chose the laser focused 12 session package, and it really helped me because I felt that I needed someone to guide me, to coach me during the process. And I I chose the Pro90d program because I know that Michael went through the same thing I was going through, and he would help me. He would be a good listener, and I would improve my speech and be more courageous to speak to people.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for that answer, Michelle. It was very well said. Thank you. Paul Murphy. Uh, so the question that I have for you, brother, is why is consistency the key to smooth speech?
Yeah, so I think the main answer for that is talking about an example. I first joined Pro90d about 5 years ago, one of the first versions of the self-study program. And I was, that was not coaching, that was just the self-study by itself. And for the first 30 days, I was practicing, every single day. I was being consistent. And by the 30th day, I found myself that my speech was drastically better than where it had been. And so what did I do? I thought, that's me cured. That's the stutter gone. And of course, that's not how it works. So I stopped practicing, thinking it was done, and it came back because I had not replaced the habitual pattern. So consistency is really key. You've got to put in the work every single day because, as Michael talks about, we're not curing the stutter or whatever. We're replacing the habit with a better speaking style. So keeping that habit up and practicing every single day, that's how you get success from this program, and that's how you overcome the problems with your speech, is being consistent.
Excellent, Paul Murphy. Thank you for that. Great answer. Pranav, the question that I have for you is why is it so important to be relaxed when you are speaking?
Sure, Abdullah. Thank you for the question, and hello everyone. Relaxation is the key, absolute key to speaking well. When you are relaxed, you will realize that you are able to speak calmly, your thinking and the way you are speaking is very smooth. Now, when you talk about relaxation, what does that mean actually? When you are about to start speaking, the process before that, you say to yourself,
Pranav, it seems that we have lost him
Hmm.
due to internet connection. So in the meantime, I guess we can move on, Michael. Or
Yeah, let's move on, and then we'll come back to him, and hopefully he can finish. I guess we can move on to Zena.
so, Zaina, the question that I have for you is why did you decide to join this speech program out of all the other ones, why did you choose this one?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Zena, and I'm from Egypt. And why I chose this specific program out of all the other each programs is because I knew that the CEO of the program, Michael Williams, has gone through the same thing that I'm trying to get better at. So this made me feel like I could never be taken advantage of. I could never be led. I could never be misled because he's been there before. He has been where I am before, and he has found the way out. So it must be successful because here he is speaking very smoothly, as I could see him then on YouTube and everywhere, and in seminars and meetings and everywhere. So it must work then. That's what I thought to myself before joining. And whenever I would see another speech coaching program, I would think to myself, maybe why should I trust them? I would always think that to myself. Why should I trust them? Why should I? Why do they? I mean, what guarantees to me that they understand what I'm going through? And with the Pro90d speech system, I had all these questions answered with the simple fact that he has been in my shoes. He has been there before.
Very good. Thank you for that answer. Uh, Pranav, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I hope I can stay here.
Yes. Pranav,
Gracious.
if you would like to continue speaking on that question, it would be good.
Yes, the one I was talking on, right, on the relaxation.
Yes, exactly.
That it's extremely important and it's the key to speaking well. When you are relaxed, your thinking is clear, you are able to speak calmly, you are able to speak smoothly. What do I mean by being relaxed? It is also the process before you start speaking. When you tell yourself you can slow down, take your time, you can relax, you are a smooth speaker, and in the while that you are speaking also, just thinking of being absolutely relaxed or breathing, all these things help you be relaxed, and it is the absolute key to speaking well. So it is really, really important. It forms the foundation of smooth speech. Hope that answered the question.
Yes, that's my point. Thank you for that answer. Michelle, the question that I have for you is what the question that I have for you is if you could share your most recent speaking successes that you had with us all.
Yes. So on Sunday, I had this interview. It's a job interview, and it's been a long time since I had this type of interviews because I was not very confident of myself and I stopped applying for jobs. So after I completed the coaching program, I had the confidence to apply for jobs again. So I applied for this job and I got an interview, and it was on Sunday. And after we finished the interview, the guy who was interviewing me, he complimented me and he told me that you're an excellent communicator, your language is good, you have good amount of experience, years, and you graduated from a very good college. And I think that the position we're interviewing you for now is way less than your qualifications. And I was very happy to hear this. I wasn't expecting it. Also, I know that I did my best in the interview. And he told me if it's okay to consider this offer. So he literally offered me a better job because of the way I speak, the way I communicated, and he was very impressed by me. And this made me overwhelmed, happy, and speechless.
Yeah. And let me just jump in here. So if you guys are watching this now, probably sometime later today, probably by tomorrow, we'll have a video up of an interview that we did yesterday, Ashad, with you and your husband. We're also going to just play a brief clip uh, of your pre-interview, right? The one that you and I did, just showing it, just a little bit of how you spoke before, because it's very important to show the before and after. Because a lot of you guys are seeing people speak now. The same thing with Abdullah. We've been trying to find some before footage, but we can't. And it's important just to see how people spoke before, because you won't believe it based on how people are speaking now. And then we're going to show her whole interview, and then I just added the last part that she talked about, in terms of two interviews, right?
Yeah.
That you recently had. So guys, one of the reasons that I'm talking about this now, Paul, you can attest to this. Uh, when you invest the money into either the self-study or the coaching, you can very quickly, this doesn't happen for everyone, but it does actually happen to a lot of people. Very quickly, you can get your investment back in multiples. Now, we're not going to ask Michelle how much how much she's going to make at her job, but it's probably 10 times more than what she paid. Maybe it's less, maybe it's double, maybe it's, who knows, but it's a lot more than whatever she paid. So we're talking about whatever you invest, you're going to get that money back often, very quickly, and in multiples. So you're like, well, is it worth it? Does this really work? Yes, it really works. We're here at least once or twice a month talking to people. You can see them and you get your money back. And we're just not even talking about the emotional, the psychological, the spiritual, the social benefits of transforming your speech. And so I just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. And also thank you, Michael, for sharing that with us. Paul Murphy, the question that I have for you is, how important is it to use self-talk? Because if we want to use any skill, if we want to do anything in our speech, we have to first be able to consciously focus on it, which means we have to be able to speak to ourselves in our head so that we can shift our focus towards what we need to focus on. So the question is, once again, how important is it to use self-talk?
Yeah, that's a great question, because ultimately it's possibly the number one thing. Because if you are constantly in your head, like as people, as we have struggled with our speech sometimes for a very long time, it becomes a habit that you are constantly telling yourself that I am not a good speaker. I cannot introduce myself. I can't. And that's constant negative self-talk. And if that's what you're telling yourself on a daily basis, then of course that's what you're going to get on a daily basis, you know. So inside the course, you learn about all this and you understand how to switch that from negative to positive. So that instead of, for example, worrying about a situation and thinking, oh my days, I might mess this up, you're now switching it from I might mess this up to I'm excited for this. You know, that's how important this is, because that self-talk, as you said, that controls everything. So it's critically important to answer the question, but it's just a matter of every day, you know, doing what's in the course, and of course, having that positive self-talk and telling yourself that you can do it. And of course, using the affirmations and things like that. So critically important.
Excellent. Thank you, Paul, for that. Pranav.
Yes.
The question that I have for you is, what is one or two things that has really helped you the most in your speech? What are one or two things that have really helped you the most in your speech? And Zaina, you can answer that question.
Yeah, I figured. So one or two things that have helped me the most in my speech. First of all, it would be self-talk, because it was the first time I ever saw any improvement when I would be so frustrated and I would think negatively and I would reinforce the negative self-talk. I found myself spiraling more down my frustration and my failures. So instead, I tried changing the way I think and the way I talk to myself before I saw any improvements. And what that did was it set the path for my improvement. It was the reason I started improving very shortly after, and I was then I then experienced the second most important thing, which is relaxation. And I think relaxation is very, very critical when it comes to maintaining successes and maintaining your improvement, because it literally gives you the chance to talk to yourself. If you're too much in your head and you're not relaxed enough, you do not have the chance to even talk to yourself in situations and to calm yourself down and to talk to yourself positively. So that's why I think relaxation after positive self-talk, they're both the most important things when it comes to improving your speech.
Yeah. And I just want to jump in just for a quick, uh, you know, like what we might call a little commercial break in a sense. Uh, because a lot of people who are watching this video, you know, we have people from literally all over the world who will be watching this. And the fact is, we have people from all over the world on this video right now. It's just very, very interesting. So let's just go around and just mention where everyone's from. So I'm from the U.S. Michelle, where are you from?
I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. And then Paul,
Yeah, so I'm from Scotland in the UK.
Scotland. Abdullah,
I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan. And Zina, where are you
I'm
from?
from Egypt.
Egypt.
I'm from
Wow. Look at that. People literally from all over the world. And you're all able to use this process, all of you, or at least most of you, speak multiple languages, and this is working for you. So if you're watching this and you're wondering, well, I don't necessarily speak a lot of English, or I speak English in another language. Will this work in my other language? The answer is yes, because most of the people here speak multiple languages, and it does work for them. So I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, so go ahead, Abdullah.
Thank you, Zaina, for that answer, and also thank you, Michael, for sharing that. Because yes, we do live all over the world, and it is very interesting to see how even if English isn't our first language, we can still use this speech system to really transform our speech. So that is really quite interesting. Mashal, the question that I have for you is, how has Pro90d positively impacted your life socially, with your friends, with your friends, and with people that you meet?
Yes, so it definitely impacted me in a very positive way. And the first thing that popped on my mind when you asked me this question is being proactive. I became a very proactive person. I'm the one who starts conversations. I want to ask people about their names, about everything. And my personality is actually very curious, and I like to introduce myself and meet new people. Before joining the program, I couldn't do it, and I used to isolate myself from being myself, simply being myself. I used to be very shy due to the situation I was in. But now I'm a very different person. I can finally be myself, my real self. And even people around me, my friends and family, noticed the change in me, in my personality, in the way I speak. And they say that I'm very happy. I look very happy now, and that I want to make everyone happy, and that I'm enthusiastic and full of life. And this makes me so happy. And thank you for asking me this question. I wanted to mention this thing.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. So, Paul, the same question is for you. How has Pro90d positively impacted your life socially?
Yeah, so socially, it has been a massive difference. Just like was said there, I was struggling to introduce myself, and I found that as I got older, I started to, nights out, things like that, socializing with friends. And whenever this situation came where I could meet someone new, I would avoid it, completely avoid the situation, which then ended up being I just wouldn't go out. I would stay in the house because I knew that eventually, over the course of the day or the night, I would have to introduce myself or say something that I would struggle saying, which of course would be embarrassing. It would cause all these negative emotions. So simply by going through the Pro90d course, that's no longer a worry. I'm no longer scared about leaving the house because if I meet someone, I'm not going to get stuck saying, "How are you?" or whatever. So the anxiety, everything has just left. simply because I took control of my speech. And I think a lot of the time, you don't realize how much your speech can impact the rest of your life. It's not until you take control and then get all of this freedom back and all this anxiety goes away. So it's critically important. And yeah, it completely changed my social life.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Hey, Abdullah, let me just jump in real quick. Freedom. That's a very, very important word. I I can remember back years and years ago, there was a point I was in seminary, and you guys can look that up. I spent almost 4 years in seminary. That's a school that people go to uh, when they go into ministry. So I actually was ordained and I did graduate. I have a master's in divinity. And I remember in school, that's when my speech transformed. It kind of clicked, switched. And I remember that there was a time where I I literally felt like a big, wet, heavy black blanket was lifted off of me, and I felt free. That didn't mean my speech was completely smooth all the time, because it absolutely wasn't. But I remember saying to myself, "Man, Michael, you can do whatever you want now. Your speech is not going to limit you. In fact, your speech is an asset, and it's going to help you do whatever you want." And back then, I was recording videos. I had a cable TV uh, show, if you will, like a ministry show. I had done live radio, right? So I was doing a lot of speaking. It's because of what Paul just said. I didn't feel limited, and I felt free. And so I just wanted to mention that this process can help you kind of break out and get free in your social life and in your professional life.
Absolutely, Michael. Absolutely. And that leads me to my next question for Zainab, which is, how has Pro90d liberated you? How has Pro90d set you free? Zainab?
Okay, so I think this calls for some contrast between. Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Zainab.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Zainab.
Okay. Let me start off by comparing how I am now to how I used to be. Before the Pro90d, I used to feel like I was jailed, and that is because by nature, I'm a very bold person. I'm not a shy person at all. I'm not an isolated person. I'm an extrovert, and it was so much in my way, the fact that I could not really express my extroversion, express my boldness, because I was always held captive by something, by a disability. And it used to keep me from making friends. It used to keep me from taking advantage of speaking situations at school. But then school became high school, and high school became college, and college soon is going to become interviews at work, and I need to get my life together before I start losing everything due to this disability. And so I started looking up how to cure stuttering, or how to cure how to get rid of it. And I found Pro90d, and it really convinced me, the fact that he is not claiming that we ever do get rid of it. It really convinced me, and I then after I improved, and after I got to where I am right now, I can see a huge difference between how I used to feel and how I feel now. I feel free now in comparison to how jailed I used to feel. And that translates into my real life, into how often I make friends now. I make friends very quickly now because I am no longer held back. I take advantage of so many speaking opportunities. I do well in almost every interview at such a young age because I took advantage of this opportunity. And I'm doing well in my major, which requires me to speak a lot and do a lot of presentations. And I wouldn't have been able to do well in it. And it would have even affected my degree and would have affected my grades. If that's not the definition of being jailed or being held captive, I don't know what is. And right now, it doesn't exist anymore. So that's what freedom is to me.
Great, Zaina. Thank you for that. That was wonderful.
Yeah, that was very good. I want to jump in and share a little testimony about a guy who I'm still working with right now. He started with me, I don't know, a couple of months ago. Lives in India. He only worked with me for about a month. Then he had to take a little break because he had interviews coming up. So he had to prepare for those applications and stuff. And he was severe. He was severe, right? He used to make the faces, push out the words and stuff. And very, very quickly, due to the process and the work that he did, he was able to smooth out his speech enough so that even when he took a break in the middle of our coaching, he got a job, right? So now he has a job. Now he has a year left with school, but he's already got his job set. And now he's back uh, working with me, finishing up school, and feeling very confident. And now his speech is going to be even better by the time he finishes because he was only working with me for a month, right? So, guys, if you got stuff coming up, you don't want to wait until the last minute, first of all, because this can take time. For some people, it takes more than a month. It can take you a few months, or take you several months. But I promise you, if you do the work, you know, these guys that are here talking to you now, they're not lying. They're telling you the truth. You can see that our speech is not absolutely flawless, but this is real stuff, right? You can, uh, Paul started his own business. And Paul, if you have a chance before we wrap up, yeah, I'd love for you to talk about that too, how you started your own, business. So Abdullah, if you can work that in, that's important. This is like real deal stuff. So I'll stop there. Go ahead, Abdullah.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Mashallah, how has Pro90d changed the way you think about your speech now?
Okay, so of course, I no longer have negative thoughts about myself or about the way I might speak. And I no longer anticipate getting stuck. And before joining the program, I used to be very shy and anxious and always isolated myself. But after the program, it really changed me. And I mentioned this on my interview last night. I mentioned that the Pro90D is not only a speech development program. No, it even develops your personality and the way you see yourself. And I've experienced it. I've seen it on myself. And it's really amazing how my personality is changed. I feel more confident now, and I see myself as an excellent communicator. And the most important thing is that I'm always in control of conversations. I used to, when I see people talking fast, I used to rush myself to follow them up. But now I can control the conversation, and it's really amazing.
Thank you, Masha, for that. Paul, if you could share with us, now that you have been able to transform your speech, which new things are you now able to do in your life?
Yeah, so I think, as Michael just previously mentioned, the one thing that was holding me back massively, that my stutter was holding back massively, sorry, was my finances. So I was stuck in a job in a fast food restaurant. Many people will know exactly what restaurant that is. It wasn't very fun at all. And it was simply because I knew that I wanted to be self-employed, to work as a writer. The problem was, in order for me to get clients and work that way, I would have to do Zoom calls or get on the phone or do calls like this. But of course, that was my worst nightmare. I mean, there was nothing worse than having to speak to someone on the phone, or even a high pressure situation like that. It was not happening. So, of course, when I started Pro90d and I started to make big changes with my speech, I was able to do those Zoom calls. I was able to take control. And since I started, I have now quit my job, thankfully. I have my own business. And as Michael said earlier about, income, the income has drastically increased, which means my investment in the program, I made it back almost instantly, and that's the value that it can give you, because it completely transforms your life in so many different areas, and especially in my case, my finances. So I guess that is the biggest change that's happened, since starting Pro90d.
Wow, that's excellent. Um, so when I first joined this speech program, actually, it was very hard for me to even make a phone call. Whenever I would speak on the phone, if there was a word that I would get stuck on, I used to literally jump up and down like a rabbit just so I could say that word. And it was really funny because the people next to me were 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 looking very confused as to why I was jumping up and down on the phone. But now, when I make phone calls, I'm able to start slow. I'm able to take my time. I'm able to speak with a nice rhythm and with a nice flow. And I'm able to feel confident and calm. So this speech program really has now made me see life at an entirely different way now. And I can do those simple things which used to be the most difficult things for me. Like, for example, when I used to order food, when I used to speak to a stranger, when I used to speak to my mother, when I used to speak to anyone, even when I used to speak to myself in the mirror, it was very hard. So for this speech program, I just want to say thank you, Michael Williams, because you have really, really, really helped me out a lot. So thank you, Michael.
Well,
And
thank you guys. If obviously, if you didn't do the work, then you wouldn't see the transformation. So, Pro90d is for a specific demographic. It's not necessarily for everyone, unfortunately. Let's just be honest, right? The people that you see here, the people that go like, I know, Pranav, you live in India, you're a successful businessman, and and you and you work hard, and you're still working. Um, and all of you, Abdullah, you're in medical school, right? And all of you are successful in your own ways. Zena, you're doing incredible things, where you live, and you'll continue to do so. But Pro90d is for people who have a professional mindset. You're either already a professional, or you have a professional mindset, and you want to not just not stutter, you want to be an excellent speaker. And so that's the difference. This is for people that want to go above and beyond. I was doing a podcast, a video podcast with Tom last night, and we were talking about you, Mashael, and we were saying how people that uh, you were interviewing with said, "Wow, great interview. We love the way you communicated." And we were joking around saying that when you're in an interview, people don't just automatically, proactively compliment you on your communication skills. Like they don't just say, "Oh, wow, you communicate." And I've had lots and lots of clients say the same thing. Like they're not going to say, "Oh my God, this was a great interview. You didn't stutter one time. You didn't stutter one," like, because they don't know that you stuttered. So they're not going to be like, "You didn't stutter. Great interview," right? They're just going to say, "Okay, thank you," whatever. So when they proactively say, "Wow, you communicated very well, and we love the way you articulated your thoughts," that doesn't happen to everyone. That doesn't happen to like normal people. It's because you spoke, you communicated, you articulated your thoughts at a higher level than the average person. So Pro90d takes you up to a higher level than what average people are at and what they operate at. So this isn't for people who just want to stop stuttering. It's for people who want to go to the next level with their speech. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yes, Michael, thank you for sharing that. We need to go to the next level. Great Jersey ball. Pranav,
Yes.
it is very important for us to practice not just with ourselves, but with other people as well, right? So the question is, why is it so important to use our new skills, to use our new way of speaking with other people and not just with ourselves, by ourselves, by ourselves alone?
Sure. And I'm sorry for not being there all the time. I'm having some problems with the internet. But now hopefully it will stay, and hopefully I'll be able to answer the question completely. Okay. It's really important to actually put yourselves out and speak in your new speaking style. It's not just the formal practice, it's the informal practice, as I say it. When we are out in the real world, talking to people, talking to your team or your friends or your family, whoever it is, every time, if you remind yourself of speaking well, of speaking in an excellent manner, that is the key as well. Because you have done your practice by yourself, you have worked, and now is the time to actually implement it. And when you realize in those moments you are speaking well, it is a huge boost to your confidence.
Mhm.
You know that by your speech, if you are able to influence the thoughts and the actions of people, it is so empowering. It is so very positive and so very strong, that feeling. So it is extremely important to use what you have learned, what you have worked hard on in real life, in actual situations. So hope that answers the question.
Yes, Pranav, thank you. Thank you for that answer. Um, Michael Williams, this question is for you. And
I'm not prepared. I'm sorry.
yeah, so Michael, the question is, why is it so important to listen to the audios in the self-study program and to watch the videos as well? Why is that so useful to us?
So there's many reasons. I'll talk about a couple of them, at least two of them. One reason is because listening and watching is one of the ways that or two of the ways that we learn stuff, right? We learn by observing, looking around, watching videos, looking at TV. This is how we consume information, and it's how we learn stuff. Sometimes it's very passive, and we don't realize that what we watch is impacting the way that we think, the way that we feel. So you have to be careful spending too much time on TikTok or whatever you may be on, right? Instagram, whatever you might be watching into the future. You have to be careful what you're consuming. Like I'm watching a little bit too much news now. And so it's impacting the way that I think and the way that I feel. Okay. So you have to be careful. So it's one of the ways that we learn what we watch, what we see, and what we listen to, right? So whatever we're listening to. So it's a way that we get the information into our minds. And the reason that we have so many audios and the reason that I encourage people to listen is because you can listen to a lot more than what you'll watch. Meaning you can listen while you're driving, you can listen while you're exercising, while you're cleaning the house, you can listen passively and you're still getting the information. So that's important because if you can just spend, at least 30 minutes, a lot of my clients will spend hours. I have a guy, he's just one guy. He is an optometrist and he's like, I used to listen to music and all kinds of stuff driving to work now. Now I listen to you. Like I'm listening to you almost all the time. So watching and listening helps you get the information into your head that you're going to need eventually. You're not necessarily going to, in fact, you're not going to remember most of the stuff you listen to at first. But the more you listen to it, the more you have access to it when you need it. So when you need that information and you've been listening to it over and over, like, oh, I remember he said this, right? Now, the other reason that we listen, the second reason, is to flood our mind with positive, constructive information. So that's why Pro90d is so effective, is because we have you listening to a lot of audio so that it changes the content of your thoughts, what you think, and actually how you feel as well, which is very, very important. Two reasons. One, you're learning, you're getting information in that you're going to need. You have questions about how do I do this? Why does this happen? Well, what happens when this, what happens when I get stuck? What about my breathing? What about anticipation? When you're listening and watching, the answers are going to be there, right? And you're going to go, oh, I remember he said this, bam. And then the second reason is it helps you think differently about yourself, about your speech, because you're listening to stuff that's encouraging you and empowering you. I listen to audio every single day, right? I have an Audible account and I listen to audio every single day. So those are the two reasons. One, it changes how you think. It changes what you think. It changes how you feel. Second reason is it gives you the information and knowledge that you need now and that you will need into the future.
Thank you for that, Michael. That was very helpful to us all. Michelle, for the people that are watching this, is there really hope that they could really transform their speech? And also, why should they join this speech program?
Okay, so I joined a lot of programs and courses before joining the Pro90d, but I didn't feel that they were effective because of two reasons. They were short programs for almost a week, or some were a week, some were for 5 days, and I consider this a short period of time to develop your speech. And another thing is the tools they were using, they were not effective tools. Unlike in the Pro90d, it's a long period program and it has a variety of effective tools and techniques. And I would like to encourage everyone to join the Pro90d program because I don't want anyone to waste the opportunity to start living the way they always want to live.
Thank you, Michelle, for that. Zaina, for the people that are watching this, and for the people who don't really have hope that they can do something about their speech, why do you think that they should join this speech program out of all of the other speech programs? And also, why do you think that they are able to transform their speech? Hello,
Maybe she
Zaina?
didn't like, maybe she didn't like the
Like
question.
the
Yeah,
question? Yeah.
she'll be back in a moment.
Because speaking is a skill, right? And you can relearn how to speak. You can learn how to speak well by creating a new style of speaking. You can change the way you think by creating new ways of thinking. And you can also change the way how you see yourself as a speaker by transforming your speaking identity through collecting speaking successes. And so with this, Zaina, what do you have to say to the people watching this YouTube live session right now that are thinking that they are not really sure if they have it in them to transform their speech or not? You're on mute, Zaina.
Oh
Okay.
yes, I'm so sorry. Can you just very briefly repeat because it was the first few seconds where the website fries your voice.
Yeah, sure, sure. I was saying, for the people that are watching this right now, which words would you say to them? And for the people who don't have hope that they could transform their speech, what would you say to them, Zaina?
I believe that no one can convince you of anything unless they understand what you're going through, and I also believe that no one could understand what you're going through unless they used to be where you are right now, and I used to be where a lot of these people are, just like Michael used to be where I am, and that's how he convinced me of the Pro90d. I used to think that there was no hope, that I would stay frustrated like that forever. I used to feel like I was at war with my mind, that I was literally forcing electricity in my neurons to flow a certain way when they want to flow the complete opposite way, because electricity seeks the path of least resistance. But soon enough, this all changed, and it really just takes practice. It goes like the acceleration graph. It goes really slowly at first, but then it picks up, and when it picks up, it's like a steep line on the graph. The improvement happens almost instantaneously, and it happens very quickly, and it is not a linear line. It is not linear. So if you're not improving the first few weeks, do not think that this will be the pace that you carry on with, because it's not a linear line. It's a curve.
Yeah. Let me just, jump in and piggyback on that. She's talking about some things that are very, very important as you think about and as you go through this process. You We want it to be a linear process, but it's really not a linear process. It's more zigzaggy with ups and downs. But if you're doing the work and you trust the science and you trust the process, even though it's zigzaggy, if you can just think about going up a mountain or going over a mountain, zigzaggy, there's some peaks, there's some valleys, but you're constantly progressing. You're going up and over, even though it's ups and downs and side to side. And the more that you do it, it actually starts to accelerate. So you actually get to the top of that mountain and then you start going down, not down in a bad way, but down in a good way, right? It actually gets faster, accelerates. That is what she's talking about. But you have to stick with it, because if you don't stick with it, when you start going down, you're like, okay, I'm sliding back. I'm starting to stutter again. This is not working. Not true. It just takes time. It takes time. And so you got to stick with the process. And when you do, what happens is, and I watched Zena, she was stuck and she used to ask a lot of questions. Well, I'm getting stuck on this word. I'm getting stuck on this sound. I'm not able to say this. All of a sudden, something clicked for her. And then she was off like almost immediately. Just something clicked. We encouraged her to join the practice sessions. And she started doing that. I mean, I even think you formed your own group. I think you, I think you went off and formed your own group and started practicing. And then everything clicked. And then she was just at another level very, very quickly. And that's how this works.
Yes, that's what I meant to say about the curve thing.
Yeah. Okay, Abdullah.
Yes, Michael. So that is 1 hour. Would you like to extend it?
Now, I think that we can wrap up here. Um, does anyone in the audience have any questions? If so, you can go ahead and ask. If not, then we will wrap up here. I do want to encourage you guys. Just a couple of announcements. Check out our website. Let's see if I can. Yeah, okay. Go and check out our website. I gotta, yeah, I think this is it. Yep, right there. So check out our website at pro90d.com. We've remodeled our website. We have a workshop that's coming up. If you're watching this video, like 6 months from now, then that may not be the case, but check out our live workshop, check out our courses, check out our self-study and our private coaching. Remember, it's all about the system. Pro90d is a system. How do you access the system? Basically, two ways: self-study, private coaching. If you want to accelerate the process, speed up the process, coaching is going to be your best option. So if you can afford it and you need to accelerate the process, you have interviews or whatever coming up, do the coaching. Some of you can't afford the coaching, or for whatever reason, you don't want to invest that much money right now. Do the self-study. You can watch the YouTube videos. You can take the smaller courses. That's great. We want you to do that, see results. But remember, it's a complete holistic system. So to get everything you need to get, you need to invest in the whole program. Don't just do the videos on YouTube and stuff. Okay. So that's really all that I have to say. Abdullah.
Thank you, Michael. And with that, I think we can wrap up.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank all of you so much for being here today. Thank you, Abdullah, for organizing this. Abdullah's the one behind the scenes and in front of the scene who organizes this. He gets our speakers together. He does the questions. Thank you. Thank you, Mashal, Paul, Pranav, Zaina. Thank you guys for being here. Look out for my interview with Mashal. Should be coming out in the next day or so. I'm going to also have interviews, I believe, with Paul. I want to do an interview with you, Zaina, okay, so that we can, we can get you out there and sharing your story. So thank you guys for being here, and we'll wrap up with that.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye.